Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. My name is Bree Cherie. If you are new here, hi, thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a returning subscriber, hello, thank you again for supporting my videos and my channel. Today we're finally doing my TBR, and I hope to be able to edit this and post this week because we have some upcoming things happening. So I just want to jump right in. This month it was just me trying to get back into fantasy, epic fantasy, and just go hard with the books and really enjoy my reading experience. So I'm going to start off with middle grade. First book is Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. This is the fourth book, The Shattered Lens. I've read books 1 through 3, and there is a total of 5 published books, and the 6th book will come out in September. So I'm definitely pre-ordering that, as well as the t-shirt that is coming out as well. So I won't give any spoilers, but basically Alcatraz was a foster kid who found out that his grandfather was still alive, and he had a hidden talent. He didn't know that he had this hidden talent until someone told him, and he got reunited with his family. Well, his hidden talent, because it's Brandon Sanderson, is something quirky and corny, but he can break things. His grandfather can show up late to things, and that's their hidden talent. They are trying to defeat the evil librarians that are trying to run the world, who are running the world and providing misinformation of different countries, and not giving normal people the correct information. So in here, they're controlling information, they're controlling education and what we learn in society, and Alcatraz and his family is trying to defeat that, so you know, everybody knows what's right is right, you know, as opposed to the misinformation that they've grew up on. So that's my first book. Absolutely loved it. The first book I gave 5 stars because it gave me everything that I needed in a middle grade book. It was so silly and so fun. I really enjoyed that. The next book is Ways to Make Sunshine by Renee Watson. This book I am buddy reading with my daughter, and right now we are only 4 chapters into it. I'm really enjoying it, but basically we have a girl. So far we have a girl named Ryan, whose name people assume is a boy. So every time they call on her name and whatnot, they think she's a boy. But their parents name them after, like, you know, kings, queens type of thing. Strength, power, etc. And so right now we're at the part where Ryan has moved and she's having a hard time with the new location and whatnot. And it seems like it's going to have a wonderful, lovely outcome. But I'm really looking forward to it. It sounds amazing. But I'm really just having a fun time with, you know, going back and forth, reading a paragraph at a time and switching and talking about the book itself with my child. With my daughter, it's been fun. The next book is going to be Akwaeke Emezi. This is Bitter. I have already read this book, just to be frank and honest. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I like the twist that she has on a fantasy but realistic, and just calling it something different, right? We have monsters, we have racism happening, we have discrimination happening, just all types of things. And they go on to basically Bitter, who is Pet's mom. She is a foster child who has lost her parents and is living in foster care, and was found by a lady who then took her into this boarding house type of school for artistic abilities. Bitter then finds out and likes to paint with blood to create realistic artistic creatures, in a sense. And then she makes one, and it wreaks havoc on the community and city and whatnot. I really enjoyed this. Again, we're talking about racism, we're talking about homophobia, and defeat, and you know, issues with people who are homophobic, just all types of social issues in this book. And, you know, they're trying to kill the monsters, you know, the bad people, basically. But really enjoyed this. That was a horrible synopsis. I apologize, but gave that 4.5 stars. So I've already read that because my TBR is really late. The next book is The Justice of King by Richard Swan. Richard Swan, I've already tried to read this book. I've soft DNF'd it. And what I mean by that is I have put it down. The premise of it sounds amazing. The idea sounds amazing. The concept sounds amazing. Everything about it sounds great. A guy who is going around serving justice. No man is against the law. Boom, 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 boom type of thing. Enforcing. Fantasy world. All of it sounds amazing. There was even a part in here where it basically said that he could use the Emperor's voice and project the Emperor's voice, which I thought was like super cool. You know, he's going around putting down the law, finding people, having them signing, you know, that they swear, basically like a whole police officer, right? I just could not get into it. I stopped it. I started it with my eyeballs, of course, reading it physically. Then I got the audiobook from my library. That didn't work, and I was just like, you know what? Then I tried hybrid reading it, and then I gave up. So I really thought that I would enjoy this book. I have not. If I have time later on this month, I will start it again just to give it a chance. People rave about this book on BookTube, and I want to be that person too. But people also say that this book is not good. So I'm going to give it another try. Maybe it just wasn't the time or the season to be able to do that, or to be able to read this and, you know, try it again. Next book is God of Mercy. This is by Okinzi Nwaka. I apologize if I'm butchering that. I'm definitely going to get the audio and hybrid read this because it seems like it's going to be mentally a lot and heartbreaking. I hope not, because this is not the month that I can deal with hard-hitting books. I just cannot emotionally deal with anything like that. So I hope it's good. This is Brandy's book club for the month of August, and we are reading this together. There will be a live discussion on this as well. If you have not joined her channel membership, definitely go over there and check it out. I look forward to reading it, but I will probably DNF it if it is like, you know, hard hitting. I haven't seen any reviews about it, but if it tugs at my heartstrings, it might not be the one I read this month, but it is added to my TBR. I am definitely going to try to read it, but I don't know why I feel like that book is just, you know. Anyway. Moving right along, we have King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This is, from my understanding, a duology. We don't know yet. Because Scarlett St. Clair has the... She's always writing, it seems like she's always trying to write two different perspectives. So she'll write in a romance book, she'll write the female perspectives, and then she'll write the male perspectives, and the series just keeps going and going and going. The second book of King of Battle and Blood comes out later this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I gave this book 4 stars. I absolutely enjoyed it. Lots of smut scenes. Basically, we have a main character who is a princess. Her name is Isildan. And then we have a vampire king named Adrian. So, the princess, she was running in the woods and met Adrian's, and her sparks flew, and she instantly fell in love and instantly was attracted to him, not knowing that he was a vampire king. Then the vampire king shows up at the castle and is like, I will make a deal with you, and I won't slaughter your home. I won't, you know, tear up your city or do anything to you. I will protect you. I won't hurt you. but you must give me your daughter. Sure enough, Axelada's like, okay, fine, you know, thinking that she could just kill him, even though she was so attracted to him, absolutely wanted him. Instant romance, instant love, etc. And she hates his guts because he is a monster. He is a vampire. He is the worst thing ever in their community. They hate vampires. They hate people like them. They're monsters. They're awful people, etc., etc. Anyways, so sure enough, you know, they get married, you know, and the book continues from there. Okay, I'll just say lots of smut scenes, lots of greatness in this book, and I'm always looking forward to reading a vampire book, period. Okay, the next book we have is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is a standalone series, a part of the Cosmere worlds, we know. And so this is the book that we are reading for the month of August. I've been waiting months to be able to read this book. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to actually crack this open and be able to read it. Again, I've been waiting probably since like February to be able to read it. So a little bit of the synopsis, because I don't want to know much. I know that there's colors and magic and all types of goodness in there. Warbreaker is the story of two sisters who happen to be princesses. The god king, one of them, has to marry a lesser god and an immortal trying to undo the mistakes he made hundreds of years ago. I don't want to know anymore. I don't want to know anymore. Again, I know that there's colors, part of Cosmere. There's magic, there's epic fighting and battle scenes, and I'm looking forward to move. It's up here from here. Okay? After Warbreaker, we are jumping right into Stormlight, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Our 24-hour readathon happens on the 12th of August, and we will be reading for 24 hours straight from noon to noon your time. To be frank, to be honest, I might actually start it at like 5 because noon does not work for me. I'm at work. My lunch break, I'm lucky if I put my head down or if I can just like, you know, relax in my chair for a little bit. I'm always working. So I might start it at 5 o'clock because I cannot do noon. I can barely get a lunch in. Next book that I also want to talk about that I will be reading, and I'll show a picture right here, is White Sand 1 and White Sand 2. This is by Brandon Sanderson. This is also a part of the Cosmere world, but it was not included into our schedule. These are graphic novels set into... I've already read the first one. The graphic novels are part of the Cosmere world, but the setting is slightly different. We're talking about a dark side and the light side where there's sand and the other side is completely dark. The language is different. There is battle scenes going on and just all types of stuff. Inside book 1, we have scholars that go around learning about different cultures in different parts of the Cosmere. So we get to learn about those characters and whatnot. So cool. I love learning about the trials that they have to go through where they are competing against certain things and finding objects. The way that the world works when you in order to get water is through the ground, even though there's sand on top. It was really interesting. Did not get much from book 1, but I look forward to book 2 and book 3. If you have time and space in your TBR, this is the month to read White Sand. I'm telling you, because once we start Stormlight Archives, those books are so chunky, so big, and they consume a lot of time, let's just be honest. So this is the time while we have one book to read this month to be able to fit in White Sand, the graphic novels. They're fairly easy. They even have audio for the graphic novels that I found on Hoopla. So definitely check them out. or at least check out the ebook, which is on Kindle Unlimited as well. So let's go ahead and move on. That's enough of Sanderson, to be honest. The next books that I want to talk about is Saga. I am reading Saga this month. I'm reading volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3, which I cannot wait. I am definitely a binge reader, but I am reading these with Brandy from Books with Brandy Shanae, and I wish I could binge this series. It seems amazing. I've heard nothing but just people raving about this series, and I'm really intrigued with manga and comics. After reading my first manga, I absolutely love it. It's an experience. And so we're reading the first 3 volumes, and then we'll read more next month. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be an experience, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. The next books that I am reading this month of August is going to be The Rage of Dragon and the Fire of Vengeance. This is book 1 in the Burning series. This is book 2 in the Burning series as well. I think this is going to be a quartet. Don't get me wrong. I know for a fact that he's working on book 3, but on Goodreads it says that it's going to be 4 books. But I am reading both of these this month. I really look forward to it. The first one says, a world caught in an eternal war, one young man will become the people's only hope for survival. The next book is going to be Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. This is a historic fantasy. So England, 1882, in Victorian London, 2 children with mysterious powers are hunted by a figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. 16-year-old Charlie Ovid, despite a brutal childhood in Mississippi, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself, whether it wants to or not. Marlowe, a fondling from a railroad freight car, shines with a strange bluish light. He can melt and mend flesh. When a jaded female detective is recruited to escort them safely, all 3 begin a journey into the nature difference in belonging and the shadowy edges of the monstrous. So it looks like they're going from London to Tokyo, and they're traveling, and the journey that they're on sounds fucking amazing. Excuse my language. Well, not really, but it sounds amazing. I cannot wait. I love this cover. Like, that's so unique. I want to know what why is this relevant, or how is this, I want to know how this is relevant to the book, because that is so cute. I just enjoy this cover and the black dust jacket. The next book is going to be The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I am in the middle of this book and one other book. So far, it's okay. So far, it's okay. There's nothing going on. Basically, in 1977, a girl is working at a hotel, and she is all of a sudden missing. Cannot find her. Well, years later, 2017, so we're talking about 40 years later, her niece, 40 years later, finds out about her missing, and no one has told her what happened, what's going on, and she has always loved the idea of being a private investigator or a detective. She wants to investigate her aunt's murder. Her mom has already passed from cancer, and she is struggling with just everyday life and maintaining college and whatnot. So she decides to go on a quest to figure out what happened to her aunt and what's going on with this town. So far, the place that I'm at, she has entered the town and nothing else has happened. That's it. So, will this get a 5-star? Absolutely not. I don't see this getting a 5-star. At most, maybe 3.5. At most. It's not that intriguing. The idea of a hotel is not creepy. I believe this is listed as a thriller, if not mystery, which I can see, I can understand that, but it's not thrilling me at all. So this is on my TBR. Next book that I am currently reading is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I attempted to read this book, and within the first 3 pages, I was confused because the names that were thrown out at me, I just wasn't ready for it. So I bought more tabs. Thank God. I have post-it notes that I'm writing things down to try to make it make sense. I am so excited to read this book because I know once I get it, once everything starts making sense to me, then I'm going to absolutely love this. This is the first book in the Dandelion Dynasty, and the history that it plays off of, I'm not very familiar with at all. But it says, the meaning of justice changes in a revolution. 7 lands. When a reluctant king united the 7 lands into one empire, some thought it would bring peace and end turmoil. Instead, it brought stagnation and suffering, the anger of the gods, and finally a rebellion. Right up my alley. Right up my alley. I just, within like 10 pages, no lie, I was just like, huh? Okay, I gotta start over. Kind of reminds me of not the plot or the premise of the book, but the Greenbone Saga, where you're just like throwing all these names and information, you're just jumping right in. And I was just like, whoo, hold on, let me get my annotation together, because that's going to need to be annotated. Finally, we have 2 more books, I think. Kingdom of Copper. This is the second book in the David trilogy. I read the first one, City of Brass. Absolutely enjoyed it. I believe I gave it 4.5 stars. It was really amazing. I truly enjoyed it. Nari accidentally summoned someone named Dara, and Dara is a djinn who was not supposed to be summoned. No one should have been able to summon him. But Nari goes on a journey and a path to discover who she is, what's going on, and more about herself. She leaves her home and goes on this journey with Dar, and she is just trekking along and following him. There's more to it. I don't want to give any spoilers about the second book, because she is living the life. Okay, she is on magical carpets, and she is in Cairo, just trying to learn more about a world that she never knew, even though she has magical power. She just thought she was different. She had some type of magic. She used it to her advantage, to, you know, run a business off of her magical abilities. And, you know, she's not supposed to be here. She's not supposed to exist. But she does. And so she's just learning about the world of the City of Brass and whatnot. So I cannot wait to jump back into this world. It's gonna be super fun. I already have book 3 ready to go. And so yeah, the next book, which I read on audio already this month, is Begilded by Deidre Jones. This is the 3rd book in the Betwixt and Between series. This is about a 40-year-old. This is the 3rd book. So this is about a 40-year-old who was adopted when she was 3 years old, and she gets a phone call when she's at the rough patch in her life. She is broke, she is homeless, she is poor. She gets a phone call that says, your grandma left you a house. The house is yours, it's paid off. Come here to come claim your house and sign off on the paperwork. Well, she was adopted, so she didn't know that she even had a grandmother. But when she gets there, the house is alive. The house is, you know, moving, and literally the whole house is alive. And this character, the banter that she has with her and her friend, her best friend, is just amazing. So it's located in Salem, and she finds out that she's a witch. do this whole process. She's a witch, and a very powerful witch, and she is able to seek and find items or people or things that are missing. And I loved it. Each book leaves off on a cliffhanger. So the 4th book was supposed to come out in May, and I believe it got pushed back to October. So I'm looking forward to getting that and ending. I think the book is finished after 4, but then I saw a comment that it's going up to 10. It really is. It would be a YA book if the characters weren't adults, because it is a very silly, very corny, fun book for me. That I thought it was really, really fun and really well done. The writing isn't all that. It's so easy to read. Next book, and the last book, is the Ballad of the Perilous Graves by Alex Jennings. This book was on my TBR and for last month, and I did not read it, so I'm going to this month. This is set in New Orleans, and it says, of everyday miracles, Perry might not have the talent for magic, but he does know Nola's rhythm as intimately as his own heartbeat. So when the city of great magicians starts appearing in odd places and essentially songs are forgotten, Perry realizes a trouble is afoot. This has haunts and graveyards and all types of stuff that just gives me that New Orleans vibe, and I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to read it. I definitely will be reading it this month, probably sometime next week, but this is going to be a good one. I already know it. I'm embarrassed that I didn't even read it last month, but I ran out of time. So that is it for this TBR. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around and listening to me rant and rave about the books that I'm reading. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.